Remember when Suga said Kim Taekook?
김태극! 김태극!
It wasn't a mistake, it was a truth that left everyone silent. In a situation where everyone was present, Suga uttered a word that marked a before and after, Kim Taekook. This moment wasn't improvised or accidental. It was a weighty phrase, said in a context where the looks and reactions made it clear that there was more to it than just a comment. What was truly surprising was Jungkook's immediate reaction. His expression said it all, his mouth open, his face in shock, and his inability to hide what that mention caused him. This moment isn't something that can be overlooked. It's etched not only in videos and memories, but also in the memories of those who follow Taehyung and Jungkook closely. It's not the first time Suga has been observant of Taekook's behavior, but this time was different. The fact that he said it so naturally shows that it's no secret to the group members. Everyone has witnessed the gestures, glances, and moments shared between Taehyung and Jungkook. These kinds of situations can't be explained with any word other than evidence. And when it comes from someone like Suga, the validation becomes even more powerful. Despite the rumors circulating, especially from some jungkookers who try to discredit these kinds of moments, the truth is that the images and reactions speak for themselves. It's not about making up a story, but rather observing what's there. Suga knew it, he said it, and everyone saw it. The bond between them can no longer be hidden. While the others barely pay attention, Jungkook and Taehyung lose themselves in a game that needs no words. Applying lipstick to each other may seem like a simple gesture, but it reveals everything they hold within, unafraid to show it all. In each appearance together, Jungkook and Taehyung display a connection that's hard to ignore. There are moments when the rest of the members seem to be in their own world, but these two always find a way to make space to create moments that belong only to them. Like this time, both with lipstick in hand, unconcerned about the seriousness of the moment or their surroundings. Taehyung begins by tenderly applying lipstick to Jungkook's lips, with that softness that isn't seen when there's pressure or nervousness. Then Jungkook responds, but does it in his own way, adding a humorous touch that elicits genuine laughter. This type of interaction isn't casual. Over time, it has been repeated in many different forms. When Taehyung and Jungkook are together, they don't just support each other, they express themselves without filters. The way they look at each other, the details like touching each other's faces or joking around fearlessly, make it clear that they're not hiding or seeking approval. They're comfortable being real in front of everyone. Taekook doesn't need long statements to prove how they feel. Their way of acting shows a trust built deep within. While others may be distracted or busy with other things, they continue to create a moment of their own, showing that their attention is focused solely on each other. That constant choice to prioritize each other also speaks of something stronger than simple habit. It's a kind of bond that's built over time, with gestures and actions more than words. Jimin tried, but Jungkook reacted immediately. Only Taehyung could have done that gesture. On the show Are You Sure, something happened that to many may seem like a minor detail, but for those who closely observed Taehyung and Jungkook, it was a scene that confirmed a unique connection between them. Jimin, at one point during the show, tried to imitate Taehyung's very characteristic gesture toward Jungkook, touching his chin. But Jungkook's reaction was clear. Without hesitation, he stepped back, preventing Jimin from touching him in that way. This gesture holds an important value within Taehyung and Jungkook's dynamic. It's not a simple touch. It's an action that has been repeated many times between them and that only Taehyung performs. When he does it, Jungkook not only allows it, but remains completely still. There's a total acceptance of the contact, as if it were something natural between them, something that needs no explanation. The way Jungkook reacts when Taehyung approaches him is different from the way he responds to others. This chin gesture isn't something just anyone can copy. It's not a joke or a group habit. It's personal. And what's most clear is that Jungkook doesn't allow anyone else to do it. He demonstrated this in that moment with Jimin. His body reacted instantly, drawing an invisible line that protects what only he and Taehyung share. This scene in Are You Sure also showed something else, the respect that exists between them. Because respect isn't always seen in words. Sometimes it shows in the way someone cherishes a gesture, a routine, or a symbol that holds special meaning. That chin touch represents trust, closeness, and a relationship that goes beyond the visible. That's why, when Jungkook pulled back, it wasn't just a simple movement. It was a silent affirmation that what he has with Taehyung is unique and cannot be replicated. When Suga said Kim Taekook, he wasn't just addressing Taehyung and Jungkook. He was speaking to the entire group. What happened next confirmed that what had previously been whispered was finally being said clearly. The reactions of the other members were also key. No one laughed or tried to refute what had been said. On the contrary, there was a pause. A silence laden with meaning. Everyone understood what it implied. The most powerful thing about this moment is that there was no need to explain anything. The exchanged glances, Jungkook's surprised face, and the atmosphere that remained after the statement said it all. This wasn't a joke. It was a mention that carried with it a long history of gestures, attitudes, and signals that Taehyung and Jungkook have displayed for years. This moment is also important because it dismantles all the arguments that try to deny the reality between them. Suga's words, combined with the group's reactions, are more compelling than any rumor. What was clear is that these kinds of statements don't appear by mistake. Suga doesn't improvise. Everything he says has a purpose. And if at some point he said Kim Taekook, it's because that name has meaning, depth, and a history. Furthermore, this episode demonstrates how the bond between Taehyung and Jungkook needs no words to reveal itself. Every gesture, every reaction like Jungkook's when he hears his name next to Taehyung's, is proof that what exists between them is visible to all. That's why this moment has so much value. It's not just a memory, it's a confirmation. For those who observe closely, this is more than an anecdote. It's proof that those around them know what lies between them. Suga expressed it with a simple sentence, but the magnitude of his statement was felt strongly. And that echo still resonates, especially among those who know how to read the details. Over the years, Taehyung and Jungkook have had many moments together, but there's something special about those simple, seemingly unplanned moments. No lights or scripts are needed. All it takes is lipstick and a smile to understand there's something they're not trying to hide. In this particular moment, Jungkook decides to play a little joke by clumsily putting on Taehyung's lips, causing laughter not only from him but also from those who happen to be watching. The interesting thing is that he doesn't do it for attention, or to catch the attention of others. He does it because he's comfortable with Taehyung, because he knows they can share these kinds of games without fear. That certainty that the other will understand is what defines an authentic relationship. There's something important to note. While other members seem distracted, perhaps focused on other tasks or conversations, they're doing their own thing. This highlights something clear: when they're together, their priority is what they build together. This way of behaving isn't new. On many occasions, the two have shown that they don't care what others think, or whether they're being watched. What matters is the moment between them. And that naturalness, that spontaneity, can't be manufactured. Small gestures have power. Putting on lipstick may seem insignificant, but doing it with such attention, laughing afterward, looking at each other without fear of being judged, all of this shows that there's a real relationship. The laughter isn't faked. The gestures aren't for the camera. They're real because they come without anyone forcing them. It's that way of expressing themselves that has always defined Taekook. A gesture, an action, a look, it's all part of a silent but constant story. They don't need to act differently because their way of being together already says enough. The gesture of touching the chin may seem like a small thing, but in the context of Jungkook and Taehyung, it becomes a unique form of communication. There's something very distinct about how they both maintain physical boundaries with other people, but between them, these boundaries disappear. In this situation, Jimin wanted to repeat an action that, in many other contexts, wouldn't have much significance. But with Taehyung and Jungkook, that gesture already has its owner. When Taehyung touches Jungkook in this way, he doesn't do it to get the audience's attention, nor as a routine. He does it naturally, and what follows is even more revealing. Jungkook doesn't move. He doesn't get uncomfortable. He doesn't move away. On the contrary, he stays still, as if he accepts this gesture as something that belongs to him, as if he already knows that this way of touching is part of what they have together. This is a clear example of how the body also speaks. Jungkook didn't have to say anything to make a difference. His reaction to Jimin's gesture was immediate, a small movement backward that spoke volumes. This makes it clear that it's not just about what's done, but who's doing it. And for Jungkook, that kind of touch comes only from Taehyung. Another key point is that Taehyung doesn't hesitate when he does it. He knows Jungkook. He knows how to touch him. He knows when to do it. And every time he does it, you can tell he's certain it will be well received. On the other hand, others, even if they try to repeat the same thing, don't get that response. Not because what they're doing is wrong, but because there are things that simply belong to two people and can't be shared. This also shows that there's a kind of silent language between Taehyung and Jungkook. They don't need to look at each other or speak to understand what a gesture means. They've already built their own way of relating, where that specific touch becomes a sign of belonging. And what's most evident is that Jungkook not only allows it, but also preserves it as something that only happens between him and Taehyung. In every performance, in every behind-the-scenes look, when this gesture appears, everything becomes clearer. It's not a coincidence. It's repetition, consistency, and clarity. Jungkook shows that there's a part of him that he only gives to Taehyung, and that includes physical contact. He doesn't share it with anyone else. Because it's not about who tries, but who owns that space in his life.